Welcome to Films in Black and White, everybody. Welcome to Films in Black and White, everybody. All feeling. It is a great day to pod. We are happy to be with y'all and hope that wherever you are at, you're doing well and things for you. Pod day. And so that's just kind of where we're at. We are back with a news episode this week, so breaking down some things that are coming in and out of Hollywood as they develop. But in order to do this correctly, I need to invite my other co-hosts into this, and I'm going to kick it on down to Brian Roush. Brian Roush, how you feeling?
I am feeling great to be here. I am super pumped to be here. It's just good. It's good energy right here. It's like the first full day of summer. I'm bursting with energy. I'm happy to be here.
It is.
Yeah, that's a great day. You know what? That solstice snuck up on me.
Same.
Yesterday, I was like, wait, what? Why?
Same.
It was just kind of nuts. So
Absolutely.
Brian, you also discovered that you can get Baja Blast in the store.
Oh.
And I am very excited to hear about that development.
I can. I was in the grocery store and I posted it to some social media and I just said it's bliss in a bottle because Baja Blast is special to me because you could only get it at Taco Bell.
That's very true.
Also, side note, it is not healthy for you. It is not
Not at all.
something you would drink if you are per se watching your intake of calories because it has 126% of your added sugars for like the day.
But it tastes good, Brian.
Oh, it's amazing. Lime Mountain Dew. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking back to all the times I went to Taco Bell specifically for Baja Blast and I got like the 32 ounce with 3 tacos. And it's like, this probably is like only 900 calories. No, I probably ate like my entire day's worth of calories at Taco Bell.
Taco Bell is not the healthiest place ever. So
look, you know
selling
what
a
you're doing
Baja
when you go
Blast.
there.
Oh yeah, you know you're a glutton for punishment going there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But
every
also
time.
sometimes you're drunk, and the best way to quick cure that hangover, either in the morning after or even the night after, if it's an option for you.
It's a Doritos Locos Taco.
That's exactly it. That's what
Doritos
that-
tacos are amazing.
That's right.
Woo, sponsor us, Taco Bell.
Go ahead, Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I also, Brian, Pitch Black was always my beverage. And
okay.
The licorice one, right?
I thought it was always grape. Some people said
that sounds better. That sounds
enjoyed
right.
the Pitch Black Mountain Dew.
Well,
Yes.
don't they have another Baja Blast group now, right? It's like other flavors available.
Oh, sure.
Like Baja Blast, it's like an orange Baja Blast regular, and then there's like another one that they all
Oh
put
my
out. In stores.
gosh, I had no idea.
Mountain Dew science, everybody.
There you go.
You're right, Doug. By the way, it's black grape.
Yeah, that's what it is.
2004. It looks
That's always
like.
my jam.
Yeah, if it's black, I support it.
That's
There
right.
you go. There you go.
Well, and ladies and gentlemen, you have heard him join us on the pod, and I'm going to kick it on to our other co-host, Marcus J. Destin. Marcus, how you feeling?
What up? We in the building. It's a news week. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like, it's a great way to spend a Monday. You know what I mean?
Very
Like,
true.
I didn't mean to break the movie magic we got going on, but I get excited every Monday coming up here and recording with you all. I'm ready to fucking punt.
That's fantastic. We are also ready.
Wait a minute.
Well, yes.
Happy Father's Day or happy belated Father's Day to you. I know I texted you both, but happy, Father's Day to you both, to two great fathers.
Thank you.
Me personally just watching and stuff like that from afar. My granddad, I called my granddad, tell him happy Father's Day. He was like, I'll be telling you that soon. I said, hell no. Anyway, to you two, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Marcus.
That's
Thank you.
fantastic. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know how I would take that information at your age. Like,
What am I
I was
supposed to-
to you soon.
What granddad, my God. And you go your whole life and your parents are telling you, you need to wrap it up, play it safe, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. Grandparents, blah, blah, don't have babies before, blah, 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 blah. Then you get to a certain point where they're like, where are my grandbabies? I'm like, whoa, pushy. Like, you want me to just get the random person?
Right turn.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Oh
You are
my
absolutely
God.
correct.
Yes.
Well, gentlemen, this has been great, but we also have a game of Catch
Douglas,
That.
how are you?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'm doing okay. I was just about to get us into Catch That Quotable, and it's how am I?
We need to know how you're doing, Doug.
I'm doing well. I had a great Father's Day yesterday. I also officiated a wedding on Saturday.
Oh, did you
really?
I absolutely did.
Wow.
So
Well, that's
congratulations to Bailey and Justin Pollitt.
Wonderful. Bailey and Justin, congratulations.
So I was able to officiate their wedding. And it was a lot of fun. It was good. I wrote it all out, and it was like 5 minutes, and then we moved on to the celebration.
Is that where you was texting me from?
Yes, I was texting Marcus from the wedding because really quick, and I don't want to lose listeners, but I got some things to say. First off,
okay,
the Cupid Shuffle, and what was the other one?
Wobble.
Oh, the Wobble. Any song that's gonna give me instructions, I don't need them. Like, just let me get up there and get after it myself.
No, what?
Yeah,
no,
I don't need instructions. To the left, to the left, to the left. No, what if I want to go right? What if I want to jump up and down?
It's safe, and everybody does the same
gyrate
thing.
my hips. I don't. There's no
Ryan,
gyrate your hips.
He's just trying to be a rebel to music that is just, giving everybody the proper guidelines.
Wow. I feel like you're being a bit of a contrarian, because I feel like there's people that really enjoy being like, I don't know how to dance. I'm never going to get on the dance floor. And they're like, okay, what if there's a song that just literally tells you step by step what to do? They're going to get on the dance floor. Everybody feels good, united. But I mean, if you, Doug, really want to shake your tail feather, I don't want to get in your way.
That's the thing. Here's the thing. I also don't know how to dance. I'm not very coordinated. And the majority of my dance moves are done in jest because I think they're funny and people think I'm serious, and I'm not. So Brian, you are probably right. I am being a little bit of a contrarian, but I also get that Cupid Shuffle out of here.
Hey, that's all right. I understand. It also, look, it depends on the DJ too, because if the DJ's doing like 4 back-to-back, no, we can't. No, we're not programming the dance here.
I think it went Cupid Shuffle and the Wobble were back-to-back, so I think he was giving instruction dances throughout the whole thing. And Brian's doing it now.
I started doing the Wobble.
The Wobble. But yeah, so that's where we're at. But gentlemen, the more important thing that we have to get through, instead of me taking instructional music down a peg, is to play a lovely game. It's to play a lovely game of Catch That Quotable.
Is that what we're doing? Okay.
This is the I thought we were dancing.
Marcus and I were jamming.
Where we get after our movie trivia our quotes from movies and things like that. In case anybody needs an update, this is where we're at with the scoreboard. So I am in last with 7 because last week it didn't change. Marcus is just ahead of me by 1 with 8, and Brian is currently sitting in the lead. Double-digit Roush sitting in the lead with 10. That's right. That's and so. Brian, because you are in the lead, we are going to defer to you to select someone to go first or to go first yourself, sir.
You know what? I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to start us off here.
And double down on it. I like that.
Double down for double-digit Roush. That's
I came prepared, folks. I didn't have to search for a quote during our intros. Nope. Like, we're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, a cold-blooded killer has entered the
All right. Here we go. It's short and sweet. Pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts forever.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I know. One more time. Pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts forever.
Now, Brian, I need you to sing the Jeopardy theme song or hum it so we can keep a good time.
Here's the Jeopardy theme song now. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know what this is from. I feel like I want to say something like what was the movie with Mark Wahlberg where he was a boxer?
That wasn't Southpaw, was it?
No, it wasn't Southpaw, but like a movie like Southpaw or The Boxer or The Wrestler, like one of those like fighting movies. But those I also see it being like serious. Pain and Gain too, like something goofy, sillier.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Something sillier, something like Go Fast, Die Young, like that kind of energy. It comes to mind the movie with Andy Samberg. Hot Rod. But I know that for a fact he does not say that in that movie.
Yeah, might be a bridge too far for that quote.
No,
Gentlemen, would you like a hint?
Yes,
we would
please.
love a hint,
yes,
Brian.
please. Give us a
The
hint.
hint is the Washington Sentinels.
Okay, so it's a football team. No, Washington Sentinels.
Oh, I know this. Brian, is this The Replacements?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
You nailed it.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Wow.
Good job, Doug.
Oh,
Good.
yeah.
That's a good movie,
this is
Brian.
this is from The Replacement starring
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Good.
And this is who says the line, Shane Falco, played
That's
by
right.
Keanu Reeves.
Shane Falco.
Now that movie, I'm surprised they haven't tried to remake yet.
Mhm.
Because that was a classic movie.
There was also a string of football movies because it was like
oh my gosh.
Any Given Sunday?
Titans,
Yep.
Any Given Sunday,
Yeah.
and The Replacements all kind of came out right around each other. So
There was another one too. And
You're right.
you're absolutely right.
yeah. Good quote. Good
That was
quote,
great.
Brian.
That was great.
Brian,
you.
who would you like to go next?
Doug, why don't you take us away here?
Okay. All right. Y'all ready?
Yo.
I'm ready for this.
Okay. May you get to heaven an hour before the devil knows you're dead. One more
Wow.
time.
It's heavy.
May you get to heaven an hour before the devil knows you're dead.
First thing that came to mind was Constantine, but now I am in a Keanu Reeves mindset.
I know.
That's the problem.
Same.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. It also kind of feels westerny a little bit, but I don't think Doug would go western. Like I don't.
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
that's
Does
his
Doug watch
wheelhouse.
westerns? That's a good.
I love a good western.
I don't know. Like I don't know. It feels like Clint Eastwoody, but it's also a little too wordy for him. So I
Sure.
don't think it's that.
That was one line.
I literally only have because the other movie that came to mind was Devil's Advocate, and now I literally only have Keanu Reeves movies stuck in my head now.
Yeah, you
God damn it.
gotta pigeonhole yourself at this point in time.
When Keanu Reeves or Nicolas Cage enter the chat in this podcast, it derails us.
Yeah.
Like
Once they
I don't
show
know
up-
what it is. It's
once they
these
show
two
up, we're in
actors,
trouble.
though.
Yeah, Doug,
Yeah.
what's the hint?
Yeah.
The hint is The Mob.
I'm gonna say The Godfather.
Okay. That is
Do I have? Okay,
That's incorrect.
okay, well, no,
But it's
I know.
it's a good guess.
Okay.
Incorrect, but a good guess.
All right. I'll take that.
Is this The Irishman?
Brian, this is not The Irishman.
Ooh.
Another good guess. Gentlemen, this is the 2002 movie Road to Perdition, starring Tom Hanks
I've never
and
seen it.
Paul Newman and Daniel
Phenomenal.
Craig. The gist of this is that the Tom Hanks plays a mob enforcer. His son witnesses a murder, and so the two of them have to run away from the mob.
Oh,
It's on. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix right now.
I think
I'm gonna
you're
watch
right.
that one.
And
Right.
it's incredible. It's based
It's
on a
real
graphic
good.
novel, if that helps people. It was also filmed in
also-
Chicago. So
And it
it's
also won
so
an
good.
Oscar
Did it really?
for best cinematography.
I mean, I get it. I
Yeah,
remember the
it's good.
visuals.
It's a great movie. Yeah, it's really good. So yeah, definitely worth watching. Maybe something to watch this weekend.
Do it.
Oh yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. All right, Marcus, take us home.
Let's do
All
it.
right.
Finale.
I am okay. I didn't know if we want to go serious or funny. So y'all tell me serious line or funny line. And
Oh
I'll go from there.
boy.
You dealer's choice, man. I could go either
No,
way.
Brian, serious or funny?
Let's go funny. I'm
Okay,
gonna take
perfect.
my chances.
All right. Where are we? Corner of bumfuck and you got a purty mouth.
My God.
Once again, where are we? Corner of bumfuck and you got a purty mouth.
Oh my God. Okay.
Having buyer's remorse right now.
You asked for it and
That's
I
true.
delivered.
That's very true. I mean, I think this is a movie where they end up in the South. So because it's clearly tried to be like a nod to Deliverance. So there's that. So I'm trying to like run through the line, like the movies in my mind where they make it there.
I like Joe Dirt, but not Joe Dirt.
Yeah, Joe Dirt was PG-13, and they only
Right.
get like one F word.
You
when it's
get
PG-13.
the one.
You get the
Yeah.
one. So, and they're not going to waste it on that line.
No.
So, yeah.
No.
I don't know. All right, Marcus, what's our hint?
Your hint is going to be paddle.
I'm a buzz in. Is this without a paddle?
It is without I shouldn't have gave that hint. I regretted it as soon as it slipped from my damn mouth. I said, God damn it.
Seth Green, right? Seth Green's in this. The guy who played Shaggy. They're looking for DB Cooper's money. I mean,
that's
I can.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Movie.
And they do end up in a pretty dicey part of that.
They do. They also run into some women in a treehouse. They're living in the jungle, the forest, and find DB money, all that good stuff. Yes, go watch that movie.
Good
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Good quote, Marcus. Good quote.
I regretted the hint as soon as it came out of my mouth. I said that, God damn it, that's too easy.
Well, and I think you mentioned it last week too. I think that was your guess for something last week.
Mine.
And I was like,
it was my guess for yours, Brian.
Yeah, I think it was
my guess for yours, Brian. Yeah. That's why I was like, when you said paddle, I was like, did you just take my quote from last week? Is that what happened here? But
I don't remember an F-bomb in that movie though at all, and I've watched it definitely more than 3 times.
I'm pretty sure that one was that rated R or was that PG-13?
Man, I feel like it was PG-13 because
like you're right. So that might have been the
so that might have been the one. Yeah,
if you're gonna do it,
I mean that's the time to do it. So, well, gentlemen, I have inched myself one step closer, but Brian has also extended his lead. So that's where we have.
I mean, we're almost at the halfway point here.
We really are. So... Yeah, we are. We are. It would be a good chance to see, maybe Black History Year could come back and Marcus can go on a streak.
No, why are you doing that? No.
Yeah.
Or maybe the 4th.
Black Power.
It's
That's
happening.
Right.
It's happening. It will happen.
That's right.
Yeah, this was PG-13. Sorry, I just wanted to sync this. It was PG-13.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, that was a great round to catch that quotable, but we do have some news to get into. And I am going to kick it on over to Marcus J. Destin to give us his first piece of news.
Marcus, do it.
Gentlemen, I am foregoing news, and I have a presentation and a question to pose to you all.
Okay,
I got this
from Marcus. Take us away. I can't wait.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I got this. It was Father's Day, and I want to speak to 2 fathers. We don't have a lot of time, so I want to get right to it.
Okay.
I want 2 fathers' opinions. On other fathers.
Okay.
Now's the time to be completely judgmental here. So we're going to start with number 1. Who is the best dad? Now, if you're missing out on this, I got this from Culture Crave, and you can't see this audio, probably because your ears don't have eyes, unless you're from something. What is the movie where somebody's ears had eyes? But who is the best dad? There's a photo, and I'm going to read it across and give you all gentlemen some time to think. We have Marlon, then Jaren. Then
Mandalorian,
Mandalorian. Thank you. Ned Stark, Tony Stark, Uncle Phil, Don Vito Corleone, Rick Grimes, Han Solo, Mufasa, Brian Mills from Taken, Iroh from Avatar, Mac McGuff, Danny Tanner, Coach Taylor, and Phil Dunphy. Who, gentlemen, is the best dad? I wish I could see your faces with this thing, but that's not how it works here.
Here is what I'm going to say, Marcus. So you can see me peek out.
Doug is now like in the right side of his screen.
Yes.
What I'm gonna, I can't do that the whole time. For me, it's kind of a tie.
What?
And here's what I'm going to say right now. So I might have to just eliminate it down because right off the jump, if you're going like the gun to your head, answer this question. It's a tie between Uncle Phil and Mac McGuff.
Okay.
I can tell you why. One, Uncle Phil took in like a kid that technically was not his own. And loved him and treated him even through all of his shenanigans like as if he was one of his own. He was so supportive. I still tear up at that Will Smith line when his dad runs out again.
Why he don't want me, man? Why he don't want me, man?
That still like gets my heartstrings like really tight. So and for him to be there throughout that is just so important. Mac McGuff, I think, again.
What is he from again?
He's from Juno.
Okay, got it. So he's Juno's dad. Okay,
got it.
Yep. So there's a part of me that's like, again, she gets herself into this situation and he's still supportive and he's still there and he's still offering like, like dads can respond to anything in that. And so that's kind of where I'm at on that end. Danny Tanner, I think, has some some skeletons in his basement. And I think Phil doesn't have those serious moments enough to really, be there, because this is a blend, right? Like it's both.
Well, sure.
And then I also cut out all dads who died. Like I just eliminated them, like right off the jump.
That's brutal, dude.
So Ned Stark has his head cut off. He's out. Mufasa, I get the sacrifice, but you gotta put yourself in a scenario to be there for the part of being a dad is being there for the long term.
Simba doesn't even get to live unless he sacrifices himself. I think he's being really harsh.
Choices to make.
Wow. Mufasa, don't die. Sorry.
Find a way to make
father. If we made a tier list, sorry, you're B tier.
Obviously, Doug is not serious about this. This is all just in the premise of this
I know.
thing.
I know. I just like giving him.
No, this is for the audience. So yeah,
Brian Mills from Taken is a little too aggressive for my blood.
A little intense,
just a little bit. He's that borders on like I love my child and I'm obsessed with my child. Like that's just a teeters.
Can I also say, as a father, I am not a father, but as a father, I don't think I would be as dedicated as Brian Mills to hear only one line on the phone and be like, "I'm gonna find you off of that." No, I don't have the dedication. Just take my child.
Well, and here's the other thing that I'll say about that is that, like, again, it's kind of in line with that being their comment, except for maybe a little bit more serious. You literally raged across Europe and took lives. And so you're going to, like, bring your daughter back just so you can go to prison? Like, I don't understand that
Okay,
at all.
Doug, well, now I got to put you, I need you to think on it. Brian, I would like for you to then evaluate the board.
So I think there's a lot going on here. I think we need to lock in Uncle Phil here. I think everything that Doug said, I ditto. I also feel like we need to talk about how Uncle Phil had a lot of shenanigans in his house, like a lot of shenanigans in that house. And he was still like, sure, you can still live here. Like he could have kicked like the Fresh Prince out at any point in time, but he kept him there. Loved him through it all, and I like the chosen family thing. I'm a big fan of that. But like as a dad, like if I'm coming down, it's like, oh no, looks like my brother's in another hijinks again. It's like, can you cut it out? Like we got dinner. Like go pick up the groceries. What's wrong with you? Like stop dancing. Like go get the groceries. Uncle Phil had patience the whole time, so that is a true like legend tier dad. I'm also just gonna give a shout out to Iroh here from Avatar, because
that's fresh for you, Brian.
Look,
that's true. That's
dad
very true.
Come in all shapes and sizes, even if they're not your biological dad. And Uncle Iroh, he taught a whole bunch of kiddos like a whole lot of stuff, and he wasn't like super intense about it. At points, I would say he is a hands-off parent. Is probably the best way I could say. But then also taught some people how to handle lightning.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That's true.
So I feel like, is there some hands-off parenting here? Yes, but I feel like that's good for us. It's good to let kids go do stuff, even if it's, starting fires or wars with the Earth Nation. But yeah, he also teaches you how to do lightning. So those are the two that those are the two I would focus on.
That's fair.
Gentlemen, make a decision. I need one father who is the best, because I have another category to get to.
Oh, gee. Okay. Uncle Phil. I'm locked in.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Uncle Phil on that one, too. Okay. Yeah, Uncle Phil's locked in 100%. And Brian, I have not watched any of the Last Airbender stuff, so I cannot speak to Iroh at all. But based on your response, something I'm probably going to have to check out.
I just started watching Avatar this year based on frequent recommendations, and I can't recommend it enough, even though it is a children's show. And I think, and this is my hot take right now without finishing The Legend of Korra, but I think it connects with children better than Star Wars. And Star Wars was made for kids. And I feel like Avatar just has some amazing messages in there that they're adult themes, but it's a kids show, and just because they're adult themes doesn't mean that kids can't handle them, and that's what I really love about it. So if that helps you,
that's a good take, Brian.
Watch it. That's what I would say.
Also, bold take for you, sir. A very bold take for you.
I love Star Wars and I love the themes, but Avatar is I see what you're doing, so here's what we would do, and you're kind of oh wow, okay, this is fresh. So there you go.
All right, last one. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Toes. Now, tell me, for those of you that cannot see, this title card says, "Who is the worst dad?" And from left to right, we have Red Foreman, Omni-Man, Walter White, Tony Soprano, Darth Vader, which I have a take on that, but that's fine. Reese Bobby, Palpatine, which is a weird take on that one too. Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin, Dr. Evil, Thanos, Frank Gallagher, George Bluth Sr., Jack Torrance, or Twin Lannister. Gentlemen, who is the worst dad on this past Father's
Wow,
Day?
there are some top contenders here.
Yeah,
Brian, I went first with best, so you should go first.
That's fair. That is
fair. Okay. I mean, so I'm biased. So the two I'm between right now, of course, Darth Vader, awful father figure. Where to even start? Has kids, and then he finds out he has kids and he's like, hey, you should be evil like me. And like the kid looks at him and he's like, I would literally rather fall to my death than even connect with you. And that's when you know you've messed up as a father.
That's just the teenage years, Brian. That's just the teenage years.
I mean, Luke Skywalker's in his 20s, but it's fine. It's he's a young kiddo. And so it's between that and Frank Gallagher. For me from Shameless. That's where I'm at. I gotta meditate on it for a minute though. So Doug, where are you at?
Man, I'm caught between two different ones, Brian.
Okay.
I am caught between Jack Torrance and I'm caught between Jack Torrance and Omni-Man, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Jack Torrance, because look, dude, just get it on lock
from The Shining.
From The Shining. You got a kid and you're gonna act a fool like that. That's man. You don't get to do you come on.
I mean,
just get it. Just do something. Lock it up.
Here's my monkey wrench I'm gonna throw in there.
Oh, boy.
What about redemption? Darth Vader gets his at the end, and when the story is all said and done, there's redemption. Omni-Man, if you read ahead in that comic, now I don't want to spoil it for anybody, so I'm not.
Yeah, I know nothing about.
Okay, but I'm not going to say, but there is a storyline of some type of redemption in Omni-Man's thing. Thanos has a hot take where he did things literally for what he felt was the right thing to do, and all of us don't know what it means to be a father.
Normally, he's my guy. Yes. So I'm just gonna put that out there. I don't mean to sway any opinions. But I just Walter White also, feel like he shouldn't be in this category, but
no. Walter White is misplaced in this category. I know you didn't make this, Marcus. That doesn't fit for me. I don't know. What about you, Doug?
Walter White doesn't fit at all. And there are some of these that I'm just not really super familiar with. So Frank Gallagher and Tony Soprano, not familiar with them, so can't really speak to their quality as dads. I'm basing my decision off of Omni-Man based on what I've seen to this point.
Invincible, Amazon.
From Invincible. That's fair. I am basing it off of what I've seen to this point, because to this point, yikes, man. Jesus,
dog shit out of this.
You literally. That's like saying you don't get it. I'm gonna beat you to death until you get it, and it's
Mark.
Yeah, that one. By the way, those moments on TikTok where it's dad's turning and it's replaced with his face, I lose my shit every time.
Yeah, I love that trend, and I'm trying to figure out how to use it.
Me too. So that's where I'm at. That's why I'm kind of between those two. So
final decision time.
Consensus.
Honestly, Doug, you've swayed me. I'm going with Jack Torrance from The Shining, because where Darth Vader's hey, join me, and you messed up so bad as a father, you literally jumped to your death. At least he gave Luke an option. At least he was what? I'm going to be polite about this. I know I'm not a good dad, but do you want to come? Jack Torrance just going to knock down your door with an axe
and then chase your. He's going to chase his own child through a frozen maze with no regard for himself or anything else. So I got to be honest with you. I'm going with Jack Torrance on this.
Yep. Yeah, he's definitely the worst.
Yeah.
Seems like very easy decisions, and the message here: don't be those dads. Right? Don't be anything close to those dads. And that is my new segment, gentlemen. I just wanted to.
I love that. I love that.
Nice. I appreciate it. Brian. I mean, Marcus, you are willing to do a presentation anytime you like. Because
yeah, I love the Marcus presentation.
Thank you.
Fireside chats with Marcus.
He's
got good points. He's got good points.
Thank you.
Brian, why don't you kick us off with your first piece of news, sir?
Okay. All right. I'm gonna warm us up, and then I got a bigger item later. So we are in the promotional junket. We're in the press junket for Black Widow. It's been a year. We're here. Congratulations.
Yeah.
We made it, everybody. And so they're starting to do all of the interviews and everything like that. And so per /film, they were able to get an interview with the one, the only Kevin Feige. I think we're always saying it wrong, but Kevin.
I always say Feige. Yep.
Kevin Feige. I always started out wrong. I'm gonna get it right, Kevin. I'm sorry. You'll get on the podcast. I'll get it right. Kevin Feige. He let people know, quote, certainly this film, referring to Black Widow, and this story is a particular case for Natasha, but the notion of exploring the past, present, and future of the MCU is certainly in the cards for all of our characters. This particular story of this particular cast is very personal and very specific to Natasha. End quote. So essentially, the takeaway here is that they are absolutely open to exploring prequels for the entire roster of Marvel characters, which I feel like opens a lot of doors or quantum realms or TVA doors, if you will, if we're talking about Loki too. Opens up a lot of timelines if you are feeling mad or madness. And so, yeah, basically MCU prequels, folks. How are we feeling about it?
I say no. I'd say no. So here's my thing. If you give a mouse a cookie,
he's gonna want a glass.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So while Black Widow, I feel like this movie, this is Marcus J. Destin's opinion, you know what I mean? This movie is a redemption for how badly they did the introduction of her character in Iron Man 2.
That's certainly how it feels.
And even Scarlett Johansson mentioned in another interview that I saw was she finally commented on how sexualized Black Widow originally was compared to her evolution as a character. Yes, sure. So for me, I feel like while you can do this with this film because you need the redemption for Scarlett Johansson as an actress to get that full circle moment, like everybody else had their full circle moment. Especially after Loki series kind of says like, hey, these Infinity Stones, I know it's not the sole purpose, but hey, these Infinity Stones are like paperweights here in this new journey we're going down, and she made the sacrifice, and there's this correlation that her sacrifice meant nothing and Tony's sacrifice meant nothing. I don't know if you can do this. What other character would you do a prequel with that you can't do either through a Disney series like Captain Winter Soldier and Captain America, like that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think I agree with Marcus. I don't know. I'm kind of caught because I want to agree, but I also kind of want to disagree because here's the thing. I don't know how I'm supposed to. There are some characters that I really want to see a prequel for. Like I would really like to see
Our Man.
Well, that's the thing. That's part of my point, right? Like I want to see like the Hawkeye prequel. Like I'd love to see how he got to that point and runs into to Natasha because they kept fucking talking about Budapest over and over.
But does that not happen in the Bullseye series though?
I don't know, but that's a great question. It's like, could it happen in the
Hawkeye series?
What
did I call it?
You said Bullseye. Sorry, Hawkeye. Dark Avengers.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
At one point in time, Hawkeye, but but that's where I'm kind of like, there's some things where I'm like, yeah, that would be really cool to see, but there's others where I'm like a Rocket and Groot prequel would be kind of fun. Like I think maybe would be kind of interesting.
Yes. Okay.
But here's the thing. This is why I disagree. This is why I say no. There is no way. That was a very long, dramatic.
I thought my screen froze in Zoom.
Nope,
just me mic dropping.
Yeah. So I just don't think that there's like I want to. I feel like the issue that we run into sometimes with DC is they make these movies that like you're like, why did you do that? Like you didn't need to make it. Nobody asked for that, and I feel like Marvel has been so intentioned and so purposed in all the movies it's released, and when it's released them and everything ties together. So I don't want them to get into this now habit of just like, yeah, we just did it to give it a prequel, because I don't know what that's supposed to add to the purpose of the story. Okay. Does that make sense? It sounds weird. Yes. And I know that's Brian, I hope you have we can disagree, because that's just where I'm at.
I'm open to this. I'm not gonna be down on it right out of the gate, but I understand why people are. I'm a Star Wars fan, and I know about prequels. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Because just the concept of prequels, for a lot of people, like, where they don't want to know the ending for a lot of, and that's a lot of people, and that's totally cool. And if that's an experience you want, a prequel's not going to do that for you. Like, if for Black Widow, you know exactly where this story is going to end and where it picks up.
Yeah.
I myself used to be like that. I have evolved a little bit. Like, I'm okay with spoilers now. I try to avoid them, but if I have them, it doesn't like ruin the experience for me anymore.
Oh, sure.
I think what's interesting about this, though, is there's a piece of news that got circulated a whole lot a few months ago that Chris Evans was cast in something else, or that he was coming back to the MCU, and everyone was like, what is this? And then we moved on.
Yeah.
That could be something now. If they're eyeing things for prequels, and I guess
that's true.
At the end of the day, if you're adding substance to the universe, I will enjoy them. Doing a prequel just to be like, here's my thing. My assumption is that Black Widow is going to have seeds for Phase 4. And I've talked about this on this podcast a lot.
Yeah.
But essentially saying like, hey, here's Black Widow. By the way, this weird thing happened, right? Because that's who Julia Louis-Dreyfus. That's how she was supposed to be introduced. Yep, and so I think and we've talked about how she might be key after the finale of Falcon and the Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Sure. And so if you do it like that, where you're giving us stuff in the universe, but still giving us backstory on a character, I'm cool with it.
Sure.
What I wouldn't be pumped about is like, hey, Agent Sitwell, he's getting a prequel. And it's just like Agent Sitwell running around on a helicarrier, adding absolutely nothing to the universe. That is definitely how you lose me.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, like adding nothing to the overall universe. I'm not going to be interested, but like, I'm thinking Valkyrie, like Rocket and Groot, like all of these folks that have had like some screen time, but they just haven't had that chance to shine. I think that could be workable, but that's where I'm at. I would get worried though, that they bring back their old stable of characters of like your Iron Mans, your Captain Americas, your like all of those, and you're taking oxygen away from the newer heroes. But that's getting ahead of ourselves.
I don't even think that they could contractually and just by actors' ages and things like that. Like
I would think so.
I don't think that they can do it now. The Captain America thing, I don't want to stay here too long. The Chris Evans things, I'm sorry. There were rumors about the Man Before Time movie where it's him returning the stones and living this life out.
Yeah.
That was the rumored casting that he was going to do, but once again, I don't think that they'll do that for those main characters, because they understand they wrapped it up. Once they did that little signature thing at the end of Endgame with all those characters, the big seven. The only one that you could possibly do it with is Hulk. But we're seeing the birth of a lot of these characters. Like real time. Like these series She-Hulk. We're seeing the birth of all of these characters, unless you're rebooting people like Daredevil or Punisher.
Or that's a great point.
Maybe that's where the prequels and stuff comes in. But I agree with y'all on both parts, the disagreeing and the agreeing.
And Brian, I think you swayed me, to be honest with you, because I entirely agree with your point, because I don't necessarily mind spoilers either. Like, the ending doesn't necessarily bother me. What is more important to me is that what they do is intentioned. It means something. Like, they'll get my money like every time, so long as it continues to be like intentioned and for a purpose, and that it's going somewhere. But if we start doing this, like, hey, were all y'all ever curious about what happened to Foggy? Well, Foggy has his own movie, and it's called The Lawyers of Hell's Kitchen, and that's all it is. Like, I don't give a fuck about that at all. So.
I mean, and Star Wars has fell in this pit a lot, and I really hope they learn from it. By the way, even as recently, Bad Batch did a whole episode about like, where did Jabba's Rancor come from? And it's like, I don't need this.
We don't care because he survived.
I don't need this. I don't care. Like, it was fun to watch as I fell asleep, but I don't need that.
Yeah. And I feel like Clone Wars fell into that too sometimes. Was like, you
yes.
remember this planet they went to in the prequels? Well,
Yeah.
there's a reason. See, cartoons.
See, cartoons.
That's kind of where it was at. Gentlemen, for my first piece of news, I'm going to take a little bit of a right turn.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about G.I. Joe's Snake Eyes or Snake Eyes. I don't know how they're doing this. Because first off, we got a new trailer today.
We did.
And it's got some folks pretty hyped. And it looks certainly interesting. And I'm kind of, I mean, it's piqued my curiosity.
You see how they had the snake eyes, the pair of dice in the trailer?
Yes, as
soon as she said
the most
snake eyes,
thing I think I've ever seen.
Okay.
The subtlety was palpable. And so, and I will also say this before I go into this news, I am on record as having said that the only movie I have ever walked out of is G.I. Joe Retaliation. I'm just going to leave that there. I want to make sure that I'm transparent in my previous transgression.
Don't worry.
We don't, after the discussion Brian and I had today, and I did some further research where they really did kill off Channing Tatum, I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck. That was like the birth of The Rock taking over people's roles and shit. So I don't blame you.
Seriously.
But what I'm going to talk about is just sort of some like Twitter backlash that's maybe starting to come out, because the way that Snake Eyes was built out as a character when G.I. Joe first came out in the 80s has some folks who are now seeing a I want to use the right terminology, Asian American Pacific Islander. I want to make sure that I use the right like terminology and the right language. Having an actor of that heritage play now someone with that has some people a little kind of irked about it. So I have gotten my this like the first portion of this from a website called the Fanboy Factor, and the article is titled "Patriotism in the Media and White Fragility: The True Enemies of the G.I. Joe Universe?" ? And in it, the author Chip Carroll goes on to kind of talk a little bit about like how like Snake Eyes became a character. So in the 80s, this whole idea of like the white ninja or white martial artist was very popular. Probably one of the most popular movies that did this was The Octagon, starring Chuck Norris. And so like what happened is like G.I. Joe was designed, and it was basically a TV show that came out and said like, look, there are soldiers who are American Indian and Asian and African American and Native Hawaiian and Hispanic who can all work together to fight for their country. But the one choice that it made was depicting Snake Eyes as sort of this heroic white ninja like fantasy character. So kind of playing into that like trope. And so what this article goes on to sort of posit and to kind of wrap it up is this idea that like there are people who are now using phrases online, like on Twitter, that are saying like many G.I. Joe, and I'm going to quote, here's the quote from the article. Many G.I. Joe fans are not happy with the decision to cast a person of color to play Snake Eyes, and they are making their voice known all over social media using phrases such as, quote, not my Snake Eyes, end quote. Another quote, Snake Eyes is supposed to have blonde hair and blue eyes, end quote. And then again, according to there's another quote, according to the comic book, Snake Eyes is supposed to be white. So there seems to be like some odd and misadvised backlash on this that I don't fully understand. And so then fast forward this to like a article that's doing an interview from Screen Rant with Henry Golding, saying that like although there are fans who are irritated that you're seeing Under the Mask, he's very excited to see this. And so Screen Rant was ever like able to like sit down with Golding to talk about his role. And Henry Golding, who plays Snake Eyes in the film, goes on to say, quote, I think it's the building of his background and the building of his true origin, and understanding that to know a man is known and understanding that to know a man is to know his past and the footprints to make where he got. And then basically sort of goes on to say like people complaining that, we see his face. Well, he didn't come out of his mother's belly with a mask on and whatnot. Who's to say we don't go the rest of the entire movies like that? So again, hinting at maybe perchance a reboot of the G.I. Joe franchise. Gentlemen, that's a lot of just information to kind of throw at you. But I'm just curious of your thoughts on, like, you know, we sometimes talk and we've had conversations on this podcast about, like, specifically with the Ancient One and Doctor Strange and other moments like that where we like taking some liberties with characters and races and things like that. So I'm just kind of curious based on what I've kind of run down for you very quickly. And I encourage folks to check it out. Check for yourself. You know, the Fanboy, let me reference them one more time and then we can get into our discussion. There's a Screen Rant article that's titled Snake Eyes star defends showing G.I. Joe character's face under the mask is the article title. And then fanboyfactor.com, patriotism in the media and white fragility, the true enemies of the G.I. Joe universe. And those are both posted within the last month or so. Gentlemen, I have droned on too long. Thoughts from the two of you on this particular topic.
Marcus, where are you at? Do you want to kick us off, or do you need a minute? Because I'm happy to go if you want to collect yourself.
Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
No, I mean,
please go. I don't have to go. Please.
No, I'll start us off here. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Honestly, I feel like this seems really weird to me, and I looking at when Doug sent this article, I half read it, and then I did more when we talked about it today for the trailer, because I did not know that Snake Eyes was supposed to be white in all of the G.I. Joe stuff. That is brand new information to me today. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had to like stop myself of like, wait, are you serious? And I'm like, well, it's the 1980s, so they probably felt they could do this.
Yeah.
Even though a ninja, like if you didn't know, and this is a place of learning and it's a safe space, like a ninja is like a specific Japanese thing. Like the history of it is in Japan. So I feel like if they were to take it at it today, trying to make this character, it's like kind of like, wait, what? And by the way, this weird white ninja thing, I just want to make a point, went on for like decades. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme with Bloodsport, there were ninja undertones there. Chris Farley did a movie called Beverly Hills Ninja.
Oh, he absolutely did. I saw that one like 6 times.
There's this weird thing with it that is very classically a Japanese thing. And so I just feel like there's a lot to unpack here. And I guess, I don't know, for me, I always have a hard time understanding this outrage because clearly the history of the character, they made him white because they they felt like they had to and sell toys. And neither of those are good reasons to make these decisions. So it's perplexing to me, and I'm still processing all of it, to be honest.
Yep, I completely agree. Marcus?
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. First, in all seriousness, if it makes sense towards the plot of the movie and it makes sense towards the story of a character,
right,
then yes. The issue with people with characters like the Chosen One in Doctor Strange, it didn't make any sense or had any impact on that story of that character. They did it just to do it because the name was popular, and that's where the issue lies. Where you could have casted it,
right?
To its most what I want to say, you could have cast it as it was originally intended to be casted. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, and it would have not had really any big effect on the story. So what I'm saying,
I hear what you're saying.
There's no need. Everybody, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
because we don't live in the 80s anymore. This story, if it makes sense you haven't even watched the movie,
right?
That's my biggest thing. Is like, I understand where if maybe you are just feeling like which is a weird statement to make to me, because being in the majority, and this is just Marcus, being in the majority and hearing somebody say we're losing our people, like our characters, for people who may have never had that or the representation from the beginning, this story to me made sense. Also, in the original G.I. Joe, the little boy that played Snake Eyes, who we assume grew up with the same genetics and all that, was not blonde hair and blue eyed. And you didn't say shit about that. So don't come to me about no fucking comic book reference and all that other bullshit. Just say you're upset because the character's not white.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that's like really interesting on this. So you could search the hashtag not my snake eyes like on Twitter and read some of these particular like comments. And Brian, to your point, there are people who are posting like pictures of old like toy packaging with a picture of some nameless faceless person going, not my snake. He doesn't have a web shooter that he shoots from a rocket propelled grenade attached to his backpack. Fuck that guy. Like, it's just, and like, it's just insane what they're choosing to like get upset about with this particular one, for sure. But yeah, it's
and my thing is, okay, don't watch it. Like, it at the end of the day, more than likely a sequel, a universe has already been greenlit. We're not going to lose. Like, there isn't going to be an alternate movie company that's going to come out with a white Snake Eyes for white American pride for people that just want to, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it could, but like, who would give a fuck if it happens? Like, the world is changing. If this makes sense towards the story of this origin, that's the only thing I care about. You didn't even give it a chance. You just literally, now I know I've had my opinions about a black Superman and doing things just to do it, but like, even I have to look, watch, and like and take in what they're doing first before I make comments on it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna support it. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, we're gonna bash the fuck out of it, and that's gonna be the end of that. That's the end of it.
Yeah, that's very, very true. That's a great point. So yeah. I mean, go ahead, Brian.
I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like with a character like this that has such, yes, there's lore and like comics to it, but I also feel like there's a great point that Marcus made that this character, none of this stuff is intrinsic to the character. And I think this goes back to when we're talking about casting, and I think the one thing that comes to mind that I'll make a comparison to here is Wesker in the new Resident Evil series. Wesker in the video games is a white guy, but for this TV show that they're going to do, and I'm totally blanking on his name, and I will find it, but the lead will be black, and a lot of people got upset, and one of the things I said in those conversations was nothing about Wesker was like about his race. He's an evil scientist. The dude's an evil scientist, and they come in all.
No, only evil scientists are white, Brian. I don't know if you knew that. But
they come in all
reality
shapes
of this
and forms, and I you know, it's just kind of like with Snake Eyes, and with such like something that we need to unpack and like talk about of like, why did you feel like you needed to make a white ninja? And now we're coming back to it, and even, you know, having the creator of the comic say like, no, this feels right, and this is something we need to do.
Yeah, because that's the other part of this. The person who created them back in the 80s, he said, no, this is fine. This is great. I'm glad they're giving it a backstory.
All the more reason to shut the hell up. Shut up.
Well, and it shows that if he's at this point where it's like, well, that's not going to be critical to this character. What's going to be critical to this character is this story of how he becomes the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, which I can't even keep a straight face saying.
Becomes
I'll trust that.
It's like it's a man in a mask.
That's all it is.
It is a person in a mask. Yes,
with a wolf, and that's it.
Yes.
And Lance Reddick, by the way, is who was cast for Wesker in Resident Evil. And so I think it's okay to acknowledge that, like, hey, there's some problematic things with this character's backstory, but to say that, like, it's not my Snake Eyes when there's clearly an effort being pushed here to, like, hey, let's have it be more inclusive. And like, also, Henry Golding is incredibly charming and wonderful. I'm really excited to see him and see what this is like. At this point, it just kind of feels like people having this knee-jerk reaction because the character isn't white, and that's bad.
Yeah, and the world we live in, you know, the first take that people want to make.
And here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to just use a throwback quote from one Marcus J. Destin. Sometimes shutting the fuck up can help you more than it can hurt you. So maybe you just need to shut the fuck up about it. Like, it's really not that big of a deal.
It's not that
can
big
we
of a deal.
direct this energy? I don't know. Anything, like, pick something. I don't even care what it is. Even if I disagree with it, just pick anything else. Because
how about people's jobs? How about y'all stop tweeting, get off the internet, and put that same energy into your everyday job and families? Shut the hell up. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, they've already spent money on this movie. What do you think is gonna happen? They're gonna scrap the whole thing?
A bunch of white guys are mad. We better cancel this like right now.
So that doesn't even make sense. And it's not even and when you talk, we just had a conversation about In the Heights representation.
Yes, we did.
This is a completely different conversation.
Right.
Like
right. Well, and I also like it's blowing my mind too, because G.I. Joe is like it is like almost nationalist propaganda almost.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Like for Western nations. Like I mean, like, so it's just so weird that people would get upset about this. It's like, do you realize the world that G.I. Joe exists? It's like,
oh yeah, the United States.
It's like we're the West and we're here to help
countries. Yep.
And it's like you didn't do anything, and they're like, our job here is done.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so this whole thing is bizarre to me, and I'm still processing it. This is so weird.
I want to show you one more picture to show you what people are upset about. This apparently it doesn't represent this. So
who is that?
Doug has a picture of like what appears to be a scuba soldier.
Sword. That is an old version of Snake Eyes toy that came out shortly after the show. So that is why people are like, not my Snake Eyes.
That's clearly a white man.
A fucking jetpack. Like, okay,
that's clearly a white man. You didn't know that?
I mean, only a white man
behind the mask.
You're right. Only a white person would choose to hold a bright neon orange sword.
What the
fuck?
Honey, look what I found at Costco.
They were on sale. Orange cuts better. This is where I'm going to leave it, but that, y'all, is my first piece.
Bizarre.
Funny. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll take it from here. I have my second piece of news. I'm going to share my Scudazine.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, I'm going to share. Now hold on. Now what happened now? All right, I'll just put it back in the thing. Yeah, that's fine. Gentlemen, if you look on your screen, and for those that can't see, you need to subscribe to the Patreon. There have been quite a few announcements and a lot of reveals. You know, back in the day, you wouldn't be able to get pictures of somebody's suit until about kind of closer to the release date.
Right when it's scheduled to come out, basically.
Right, like maybe about 2 weeks before it was supposed to drop. But now times have changed, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods has had a lot of releases. They did a teaser about a month ago of Zach's new suit, or Shazam's new suit, and it looked really good. It's a darker tone, has a lot of textures. It looks a little bit more realistic and not as comic booky.
Yeah.
If that's a great way to describe it. So on the screen right now, we have a comparison from the 2019 film and the 2023 film of Shazam! The Fury of Gods. And what's on the screen is Shazam and his brothers and sisters, his adopted brothers and sisters, in their full superhero Shazam outfits, and all of them have gotten outfit upgrades. In addition, absolutely. I mean, and it looks really, really good.
Yes.
You know, the colorway looks better. It's less muscle in the muscle suit.
Yes.
So everything looks a little bit more realistic. So you kind of can get a tone of what they're going for here in the sequel, like maybe trying to age everybody up. So speaking of aging everybody up, if you look to my right, your left, maybe, I don't know directions that well. They have Mary Broomfield is all grown up in Shazam, okay? And I'm getting this from comicbook.com. In the sequel, Grace Fulton, who is the actress, will pull double duty now and play Mary and superhero Mary in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. So she'll be taking over the costume hero role from Michelle Borth, who in the bottom photo was originally the Super Mary or superhero Mary version of Shazam. The actress is now old enough to play double duty, where they said like, oh, look, you can change her hair, and Grace now plays both parts, and said but her hair and makeup is slightly different when she's nobody versus when she's all superheroed up. So that's just a quick thing. Like, the actress that played the role grew up and is now able to play the role. And able to play both roles now instead of playing one or the other, like the other actors and actresses. So just something to peep out there.
I love it.
It looks good. I mean, it looks good. I hope the there have been, I saw this, I was on Twitter a little bit today, and I saw that people were like mad that dark green looked black, because there were a ton of people who were like, isn't black reserved for Black Adam only? And everybody's like, come on, man, adjust your computer settings. That's
yeah, that's
a hunter green.
It's a hunter green.
I mean, and I mean this in all honesty. If you look at that picture and you're like, that's black, like check your screen settings. Also, maybe go to an eye doctor. I'm being dead serious. Maybe you need to do a colorblind test. Like, and that's legit. I did it. I've done it for all of my eye exams. Like,
also, are you tasting copper in your mouth? You might be having a heart attack. Like, there's several reasons why.
Don't go outside and stare at the sun. It's bad for your eyes.
No, but I do like this direction. What it seems to be the direction of this film, and also you can see that the darker tone and more grown-up tone, this is going to match the Black Adam movie more.
Oh, for sure.
Because you cannot have this bottom photo where it's more cartoony and funny, or like carelessly funny and like kiddish, right? You cannot match that with the intensity that The Rock is bringing for Black Adam, in my opinion.
Right.
And he seems to be going hard at it, and I think that these outfits are going to resemble what The Rock's Black Adam outfit is going to look like, or be fairly close.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I will say this, Mr. Dwayne Johnson, if you would like to come on this podcast and talk about where you'd like to go with Black Adam, we would gladly have you. Just don't bring your big bag of weights with you.
I doubt you're hearing this, but you're a childhood hero of mine. I have watched your career since WWF. And now you're singing songs as Maui to my kid. It's an incredible full circle moment here.
Black Adam.
Yeah, Rock, I know you're not listening to this shit.
We'll do squat thrust for time.
He's way too. All right, that's enough of that. That's enough. It was only a matter of time before CrossFit Doug came out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But you're right, Marcus. I think the other thing is like, as this tracks to like with Billy's character, like, you know, Billy gets more mature in handling that responsibility the more he has it. So you're right. Like, it makes sense and tracks for that character to start off of like, he does kind of think it's a little bit more silly and maybe a little bit more of a joke, but then it kind of gets into that, like, no, the realities of that responsibility start to set in more and more and more. And it becomes more of a thing. So I think that's absolutely like a great point to make, that this darker tone is important going forward. So
yeah, I think the only thing I want to add, one, I still love that they're going with the direction that power needs to be shared. So seeing all of the Shazam team costumed up seems like they're going to lean into that, which I'm super pumped about that. And I think the other thing too is that if you look at these updated uniforms and costumes, it feels like the Man of Steel Henry Cavill material. That. So it's nice that there's some consistency there, just from a visual point of view of like, okay, that's the material the heroes wear. Got it. I also just want to talk real quick about Mary Batson's uniform. It's more like, it feels more uniform-y. Like, she's got a collar, she's got these sick shoulder pads,
gladiator vibe in the front skirt.
It's still like, it like
very Wonder Woman-y.
Still gets the vibe across that she's Mary Batson, but it's definitely more formal looking. Absolutely formidable. And I just really enjoy that.
Wait a minute, gentlemen. I forgot to report on a piece of news. Can I slide another piece of news?
Oh boy, slide
right in there.
Depends.
Over the weekend, they started shooting, and some photography got released for the Flash movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
They did. I don't forgot how I couldn't have didn't mention this. You get your first look at Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And it's rumored that they shot the last ending scene first. So what you see is Barry walking out of this courtroom, and then him seeing Michael Keaton as this new Batman. Now, there was a lot of backlash because the rumor is that they're getting rid of, obviously, Ben Affleck as Batman, but also Henry Cavill. In this movie, they're going to have Supergirl, but she's going to be playing Laura Kent, who is Superman and Lois's daughter that was originally killed in Injustice.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so that's a lot.
So when you look at the photos, she has short black hair. This is not his cousin. This would instead be his daughter instead.
Interesting.
Great photos that got released. A lot of photography from the set. So go, if you have time, go look that up. But there is a lot of anger and backlash from the community about Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck being replaced and being disrespected, essentially.
Can
can I just real quick? I gotta just hold on. Just everybody.
Do it. Do it, Doug.
Oh shit! He went solo.
Can we fucking cool it with the backlash over shit? Can we cool it? Can y'all just take your hands off the goddamn keyboard for like, I don't know, 6 seconds and just say like, I want you to just everybody practice this question. Is this worth my time? Is it worth your time to write the comment like, oh man, they're gonna disrespect Henry Cavill like that? Man, fuck WB. You should be saying fuck WB for so many other things, like just real fast, like so many other things.
Yeah, that's true.
But the backlash over like a costume choice or I don't know, like whether or not your actor is in this or not, like there's gotta be. Can we just somebody come and check on these folks because I'm genuinely worried about it for a minute. That was take a knee with me for just a minute because also, y'all, we gotta take it. You go, come on.
Well, and I also feel like this is going to be so out of place, but whatever. I think it's really important when we're talking about the creative process that. Yeah, there are some things that we value and love as comic book nerds and movie nerds and just like fans of a lot of things here. And we've all talked about that. But that stuff has to be able to grow and expand and experiment. And it has to go in different ways because you can't keep making the same movie over and over and over again. Like nobody wants that. And so you have to explore these new areas. And you have to have that patience. I see you, Marcus, and then you can go right after me. And I wish people would learn that this is an iterative process that you're gonna keep innovating, you're gonna keep creating, and these things aren't always gonna look like the things in the comic books or original movies, and that's okay. Change is good, and it that's all.
For sure.
That was
absolutely
great.
Yes,
that
Marcus.
Was good. In an partly serious, partly joking, because what Brian and Doug are saying is very valid. But for me, I feel like maybe not so much for Ben Affleck, but for Henry Cavill, one of the best iterations of Superman I think I've seen since Christopher Reeves. Now, Tyler, the last name always gets me. Tyler Chohan.
Yeah,
he's from Teen Wolf, but he's on the new Superman and Lois TV show.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, Cohen?
Chef's kid. Is it Cohen?
It looks Cohen to me.
Okay, sure. We'll go with Tyler Cohen.
Okay.
Tyler Cohen is amazing in his own direction of Superman. So I want to give him that credit because that show is doing fantastic. God, it's amazing. But
I believe somebody promised us bonus content about that show.
We did, and I will give it after the season's over. I'll give you a full season. But yeah, you're right. And I hope you're watching Fast and Furious. So for me, Henry Cavill was just underappreciated. So I understand the frustration in WB's bullshit back and forth. We got one Man of Steel movie, Batman versus Superman, and then this new Justice League cut, right?
Yeah.
And that was creepy. So the new Justice League cut, and I just feel like he was just underappreciated, and I understand the frustration there in not getting that full moment with him under the sun and seeing him be Superman in full, or at least again for his own solo movie. So I understand the frustration there, but also things do have to change. These characters can't be these characters forever. So I just wanted to slide that news in there real quick. Go check out the Flash thing. It's a lot of good stuff. I think they're headed in a good direction. We've already been talking about how this is going to reboot probably the universe. So and we'll go from there.
Yep, for sure. Yep, completely agree. Brian, piece of news?
Yes. So we're going to take another left turn here. And that's like turned into our vernacular, by the way, of like, it's going to be a little serious.
Well, they're on the highway journey of this episode of Films in Black and White, and there's some twists and turns. You got to be ready.
We're not making left turns and right turns on the highway. That's terrible.
Anthony Mackie said some things a few days ago. And basically he did an interview with
fucking up
Variety, and the title of this piece is called Anthony Mackie on his promotion to Captain America and Sam and Bucky's bromance on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And basically, this is just Anthony Mackie having a friendly conversation with Variety. There's some good stuff in here. Some got picked up that a lot of people focused on in a lot of different realms was this quote. and it's a little bit of a longer quote, but stick with me, everybody. And it says, start quote, the idea of, let me actually give some context to this. So the interviewer asked Anthony Mackie about like, hey, some people are finding some connections between Bucky and Sam, and are they gay? Are they in a romance? You know, can you expound on that? And that was, I'm paraphrasing the question that was asked. And he responded, quote, the idea of two guys being friends and loving each other in 2021 is a problem because of the exploitation of homosexuality. Used to be guys can be friends. We can hang out and it was cool. You would always meet your friends at the bar, you know? You can't do that anymore because something as pure and beautiful as homosexuality has been exploited by people who are trying to rationalize themselves. End quote. And he goes on, I'm going to stop the direct quote there because he goes on for like another 3 sentences talking about like, hey, it's important to see men be sensitive. It's also important to see them, you know, it's okay to see them as superheroes. And it's okay to have a spirit of friendship with someone that you care about and love. And so this quote was a little problematic in some of, I shouldn't say some, it was problematic, especially, as we're talking about like Pride Month. We're here in Pride Month and acknowledging and celebrating a lot of those, folks that identify that way. And I think most people took issue with the fact that he was saying that, people are trying to rationalize themselves by exploiting something, and that's not exactly what's going here when people say, oh, are Sam and Bucky in a relationship? So, gentlemen, that was the piece of news I wanted to bring.
Can I be honest?
Go ahead.
Yes, please do.
Safe space, right?
That's what we want. That's what we want.
When I originally read this, I had to read his quote 3 times.
That's fair.
Same. By the way, same.
Because I didn't understand it. And when I finished reading it, I felt like I understood what he was saying.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
that's fair.
I related, not related, but like I got what he was trying to say. In addition, on TikTok, on my page or whatever, there was a whole lot of people saying he's not canceled. We understand what he was trying to say. And these were people that were self-alleging themselves to the LGBTQ plus community. Right. So I felt like I understood what he was trying to say. I know I am not the one to take offense to this quote because I'm not in the community, but as a heterosexual or as a cisgendered Black man, I got what he was trying to say. And I agree with the points of it's important for people just to be, if people see me and Doug going down the street, the first thought should not be, are they gay? No, we're just two buds hanging out, kicking it. And being, vulnerable around each other. I've cried in Doug's office multiple times. Like, that's just our relationship. So for me, I understood it. Now, somebody tell me where I'm wrong so that I can learn. That's what I need.
Here's I'm going to let Brian, I just want to say one thing. My issue with this comment is that I don't know where the sensitivity for these characters is coming from. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm just, my issue with this is not so much like mine is just, I feel like he misrepresented some of the moments from the show, which is why I want to get that out there before it leaves my brain. But I'm going to let Brian kind of cover the other stuff. But my big thing is he's like, well, it's important to see people be sensitive. And I really don't think if I ever saw, and I saw Bucky do that by himself, and I saw Sam do that by himself, but I never saw that vulnerability breakdown between the two of them. So I don't know where necessarily that's coming from. So, but I do want Brian to chime in because I think Brian probably has a more important point than the one I just made. So
I'm not going to say it's more important. I think the thing that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way about this and that can be harmful to folks in the LGBTQ plus community is that, he's making these generalized statements about like, hey, you're trying to see yourself in this relationship and you're exploiting something. Sure. And I don't really, in my experiences with folks that identify that way, that's not really what's going on. Like, just because someone's like, hey, Sam and Bucky could be in a relationship, that doesn't take anything away from the LGBTQ plus community necessarily. It's just an idea that is put out there. Do I think Anthony Mackie intended to put down anybody? Absolutely not. I do not think that at all. I don't think that was his intent at all. But I think what the impact was him saying like, no, why do you always have to make things about yourself? And why are you trying to warp this thing? And all it was like a buddy cop movie over 6 episodes. Like, that was how the impact like hit people. So I think it's just more the idea of like phrasing it in a way where it's like, hey, if someone's saying like, hey, are they in a relationship? And being like, well, no, that's not how it was written. But like, if that's how you view it, okay. Like, you don't necessarily need to put like an entire community down for that if they just view it differently.
See, and that's what's interesting. I want to also give an answer to Doug, not really an answer, but a point. But see, I guess I viewed it from people I guess I viewed it from people outside of the community asking the question.
Sure.
And so for me, it made sense for people to be like, me as a straight man, are they in a relationship? It didn't matter. But if somebody in the community is asking, so like, is this a thing that we can hope for and maybe like be represented? Right. Like, is this a thing that we could, because we could see it? That makes all the difference. So of course I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to get in. I appreciate Brian for breaking that down and explaining it. And through that lens, that makes absolute sense. And for me, so if I offended anybody, I do apologize. I just want to have this learning moment live.
It's good to have because I think anybody like reading it at first values be like, why are we making the assumption that these two people are like in a relationship just because they're close? But there's some harm potentially with that. So,
well, and I think, I think if you are I think the other thing to point out here too is that if you are in good faith trying to understand this stuff, like I think people will give you the patience for it. At least that's been my experience. Things might hurt. I know I've been in positions like that too, where it's like, oh, I hurt you when I was trying to learn this thing. My bad. How can I make it better? And that's like how you try to fix things if people need to know that. And so I think while, again, I go back to intent and impact. Like, I don't think Anthony Mackie like set out to like destroy like some people's days.
I just became Captain America, but let me take everybody down a peg.
Right. Like, but there are people that are like, wow, I could see myself if like this is, if they have this type of relationship, I could see myself there. And that would be really great. And I mean, that's like where a ton of fan fiction comes from, everything in between. And so to have someone like look at it, acknowledge it and be like, no, like, and by the way, XYZ.
Yeah.
That's gonna,
I see that. Yeah. I can hear it in the old person voice of it being like demeaning and like, but to Doug's point, I feel like you asked the question of where they showed it. I think that there were moments now in the scene where it was kind of shown but not shown. The scene where they have to put their knees in between each other's legs. It's an awkward scene. If you look at it, it's like, why did they set that shot up like that? Does that make sense? So like, I'm trying to view it from a perspective of, okay, I could kind of see where these guys are buddy, but as a cisgendered male, I just see that, these two guys are cool. Me and Doug will do the same thing. Me and Brian would do the same thing.
And I think that's the beauty of art is that everybody can look at it and come away with something different. And I think all of that is valid. And if someone's like, I don't know, this is how I interpret it, it's like, okay, cool.
I can't tell you you're wrong. Then that's fine.
Well, I think that goes to, it boosts that same conversation we had about the Snake Eyes stuff. Like, you have to see some relative interpretation of how this stuff gets out. And even the Shazam and Superman stuff too. Like, all of this stuff has to go, everybody gets to interpret this art through their own lens and get to do with it what they want to, and that's the beauty of it. There is no necessarily right or wrong answer for how any of this type of stuff is created, and probably over time, if you look behind me, I have all those like old Batman covers. Like, those are from like the the 70s and 80s. Like, if we had that same Batman now, nobody would read it, nobody would watch it. But at one point somebody said, what if we went really dark with it? Like, and that's how it became the thing that we love now. So it's important that those conversations happen, because that's how you put them through enough lenses, and it's like filtering vodka. The more you filter it, the better it is.
Okay.
What the hell?
Okay, yeah, I had to take a minute for the vodka part, but yeah, absolutely.
The king of analogies strikes again.
Yep, that's exactly how it is.
But in any case, that was my news, and
beautiful.
I just want to take a minute to say thank you to Marcus, just really fast. To again, there it is, Snake Eyes with an orange sword. Just say thank you to Marcus for like being willing to be like vulnerable in that because it's messy and it's hard. So I mean, I think
for sure
to do that. So and I hope the other people do that with us.
No,
yeah. So, gentlemen, my last piece of news is relatively quick. And it is reporting. I got this information from Collider. So a little while ago, it was announced that Taika Waititi, who has been Thor, and then just he's rumored to be he's involved in a Star Wars project.
He's also in a throuple.
Yes, he's also in
Marvel is displeased with.
Apparently,
he is also displeased with.
He's also in a throuple, so there you go. And he has some other things coming out. But one of the things that he is working on is he's working on a TV show that is centered around being.
Wait.
Go ahead.
With Taika Waititi being in a throuple with Rita Ora. And who was the other? It was
it's Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson,
Valkyrie,
which is like, first of all, in one hand, fire as hell. Like, oh my god! But also
you pulled it off.
Problematic because you're like directing a Marvel movie,
and with one of them.
With one of them, and like is you one of your main leads, and during the breaks, you are just throupling it up inside of your like. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It kind of blows my mind. I'm not really sure how that. Not to mention like all the other stuff he's got working on. So you're busy, man.
Big
like that might be what I call biting off more than you can chew. So that's a lot.
Good for them. Good for them.
As long as everybody's happy and respected, and given consensual respect.
Yes, absolutely. Here's what I've
mind your damn business, Disney. Let them get their fucking throuple on.
Here's what I'm going for. But Taika Waititi is working on an HBO Max pirate comedy that is centered around Blackbeard as a pirate, and the show is going to be called Our Flag Means Death. And it's coming. It's got some new announcements to it. That's interesting. And the announcement today was that Rhys Darby, who played Hodor from Game of Thrones, will be playing is announced as playing the character Wee John Feeney in this particular but they're kind of like flushing this out, and the only reason why I mention this is because one, Taika Waititi has a ton of like really great like his roots are in comedy, and his other stuff is really great, and it always does seem like Our Flag Means Death will start to release after Thor Love and Thunder. So he's gonna go from like Thor Love and Thunder to this and then doing other projects. And I only announce it because one, it's original content from HBO Max, and most of the stuff that we talk about typically on this show is, comics and iterations and versions of that. So having an original story to like get excited about is really, really cool. And then secondly, just again, his roots are in comedy with some really cool names behind it. This could be a really fun show, and pirates kind of fell to the back burner. There was a while there where like it was pirates and ninjas, and it was just that's like what the lexicon was about. And now we're kind of so to see something like this come back could be a lot of fun, like a What We Do in the Shadows, but it's pirates. It would be really, really funny to check.
I'm not mad at that at all. I like original content, things that if you can make content that stems away from sci-fi fantasy, although pirates is kind of what maybe fantasy, depending on how you do.
I mean, it's
your pirate, I guess, but
but
like original content, HBO Max I don't think they've missed. I have not watched all of their original content. I'm not going to pretend to. But they seem to have created a name for themselves of what kind of content they want to put on HBO Max, and so
for sure.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just realizing, so Waititi and Rhys Darby, who's the lead for this, they worked on Flight of the Conchords together.
Yep.
So I don't know if that matters to anybody. So they have worked together before. So I'm wondering if they're trying to like take some of that flavor and then put it in Pirates, which I think will totally work.
They love that marinade. Yep.
Yep.
Will the Pirates cover thruppling?
I mean, I think art imitates life and life imitates art. So I mean, we can hope that there's a thruple in
maybe
there.
They're pirates. They do anything they want.
They write their own fucking rules, man. They want to quadruple it. They can quadruple it if they want to.
Oh, that's so sexy.
Yeah. Really gets everybody excited. So God damn it. Okay. I tried to maintain that for as long as I could, but
How was the podcast tonight, Brian? Oh, it was great, honey. We talked about thruples. Good night.
Yep, good night. Yep.
Don't you get any ideas either.
Yep, that's right. Gentlemen, do you all have any other news that you all want to get into this day?
No, not at this time.
All right, fantastic.
I mean, but thruppling though, really?
No, leave it. We no more thruppling. No, are there any thruples out there that want to come on the episode?
Y'all want to talk about thruppling? Like, holler at me.
Welcome to Thruples in Black and White.
There we go. There we go.
I
mean, coincidentally, this is a thruple.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah,
it's true.
You're not wrong. We're only interested in hearing from interracial thruples. That's
and
how this podcast works.
We don't kink shame.
We do not. We do not. All right, we'll end it. We're gonna end it, gentlemen.
Interracial thruple.
What? Okay, we've gotten to the part of the podcast where we have things that we need to plug. I'm going to give Brian a chance to recover because he's losing his shit.
This is 2 weeks in a row.
I'm fine. I'm here. I'm here and I'm ready to close
Here's what I have to plug this week. This podcast, if you want to see Brian lose his shit, sign up for the Patreon because it's absolutely worth it.
It's amazing.
It's just we love doing it week in, week out. There's big summer movies next week. We're gonna have a guest as we cover F9, which will be really, really fun. And yeah, just check it out and share us with your friends. And again, sign up for that Patreon. So that's what I have. Marcus, what do you have to plug this week?
Thruppling. Listen, we got to make this a regular thing, okay? Thruppling has to become an interracial. Thruppling has to be a thing. No, y'all already know what the deal is. You got to follow the mantra and ask me what the mantra is, and I'm gonna tell you every time. It's never offended, always humble. You know what I mean? Follow the mantra _ the mantra on Instagram. Also follow us on whatever else we do, but there's new music on the way. We just had a great team meeting the other day. New merch is on the way. Got some stuff that's going to be really, really dope. Trying out some new things, and we are just expanding. You know what I mean? Like, you follow us to stay connected. Hit me up if you want to talk more about the mantra and all that other stuff like that. But above anything else, be respectful. And also, when people show you their true, put me in the solo. Put me in the solo.
You got it.
Message of the week.
Hold on.
Okay, that's Doug.
Where you are.
Message. What's happening? Here's the message of the week. Okay, the message of the week is when people show you their true colors, or people show you their ass, be thankful, not regretful, because they could have shown it to you later on down the road when you were a lot more invested, and it would have hurt a lot more. But when people show you who they truly are, don't give them excuses and don't blame yourself. Take it for what it is and learn from it. Super important, okay? There's enough blaming you. There's times where you need to self-evaluate, but there are also times when it's not your fault. When people show their ass, be thankful that they showed you, that they took the time to show you their ass.
Absolutely. That's great advice. That's great advice, Marcus.
I was digging the Maya Angelou vibes. I did.
Thank you. Thank you. Big compliment. Big compliment.
Absolutely.
That's all I got.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Brian, what do you got?
Well, I'm now recovered from our thruple discussion. So yeah, we're talking about the lovenerds.com. It was Father's Day, and Maggie said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Nothing." And then she said, "Okay, but for real." And I said, "I'd love just a ton of chicken wings." And you know what? She made a ton of chicken wings, and she made them with a recipe you can find on the lovenerds.com. It was a honey sriracha dressing. It was amazing. I still have some. I've eaten them. Like I have enough for 3 meals. She spoils me. So yeah, check that out. There's also other sauces you can use, but I just really like the honey sriracha one. So there you go. TheLoveNerds.com.
TheLoveNerds.com. Gentlemen, this has been a wonderful episode, but before we close it out, we have to give everybody our 3 keys to success. Brian, what is the first key?
The first key is read a book. And today I'm just here to talk to you about, you know what? Just get an audiobook. Like if you don't want to move your eyes because you're too tired, just listen to it. That's fine. That's reading. Just read a book however you intake it. There you go. Download an audiobook, read a book.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Marcus, what do you have, sir? Give us the second key.
I want to put a pause on there for a second.
Okay.
I have something I would like to put on screen.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Gonna be Snake Eyes again?
No, it's not.
Snake Eyes.
No, it's not this time. It's not gonna be Snake Eyes. Give me 1 second. Brian is absolutely right. You do need to read a book, and the second one is you need to drink some water. Okay, you need to drink some water. But while you drink some water, there's something that you should have while you drink the water, and it's these fire ass wings. Listen. I went to Brian's Facebook page and I had to go find these fucking wings. He was talking the whole time, and I saw these when he posted these fucking wings.
This is called introducing a concept in your conclusion, Marcus.
My mouth was watering. These wings was
like for people listening, he has the picture I took of like the whole plate of wings. So we got to have y'all up and we'll make these wings. It'll be delicious.
My gosh, those wings blessed my soul on Facebook. Anyway, water. You got to drink it. You know what I mean? You got to drink it. It's getting hot outside. The first day of summer happens, summer solstice, all that good stuff. Stay hydrated. You know what I mean? You don't want your sweat to smell like the shit that you've been eating, especially if you ain't eating the right stuff. You're going to stink. So that's step number 2. Drink some water.
Awesome. Step number 3 is, look, thruples wash their ass because they have to. It's people involved in the process now. It's not just you and maybe your spouse or your significant other. It's your other significant others, plural. And if you're going to think you're going to get away with thrupling without washing your ass, you are kidding yourself, mister. And so you need to keep that shit. I can't. You can't. You gotta. It was the mister. The mister did it. You have got to get that under control. So just get up in it with a washcloth and some soap, and just make sure you wash your ass. Because at the end of the day, if you want to enter into the thrupling world, you gotta be prepared. And
gotta be prepared. You gotta have fresh ass.
Yeah, that's absolutely accurate.
Read a book, learn what thruples are.
Yeah,
drink water for your partners. Okay, that's important. And wash your ass for your thruple.
Yeah, I assume this is how you spell it, just in case anybody's curious. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that has been this.
You know, there's a thrupling section of TikTok.
I don't need to know, and I'm trying to close this shit out. Like that's
my bad. I am clearly a distraction. I just can't stop thinking about these goddamn ladies.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been this week's episode of Films in Black and White. We will be back next week with a guest and to cover 9. Other than that, we will see y'all next week.
I just listen.